Hello everybody, this is Yankov Wong again. I'm really excited today because Phase 1 has just announced their new camera body, which is right in front of me, the XF. And thanks to founder Global Tech for letting me this camera so that I can run a test with it. Also in front of me is the older brother, the DF Plus, which they are going to discontinue it after they have announced the XF. People knowing that I'm going to test this XF out, the first question that they asked is, how's the autofocus doing? For now, what I know is the Phase 1 is telling me that they have a new system with it, which they call the Honeybee Autofocus platform. That there is a CMOS sensor which with 1,000 pixels in it, just for the autofocus. I'm a bit disappointed that there is still only one focusing point right in the middle. They were saying that the autofocus is a lot better now, but for that, I will need to run some tests with it before I can tell you anything about it. With the XF, the Phase 1 is also releasing their new digital back, which is the IQ3. With me is the IQ3 with 50 megapixel CMOS sensor version. Which should be the same as the older brother, also the IQ250. There are also other functions with the camera body, but which I'm not going to go into detail now. I'm going to go into detail after the test. With the XF and the IQ3, there are also a lot of other functions. But one of the most exciting fact is that the body with the back and also the autofocus system can all be upgraded through firmware and OS upgrade, which I'm expecting even better when time goes on, when they are releasing newer firmwares. And for users with IQ2 systems, you can use your IQ2 system with the XF body with no problem. And also, through firmware upgrade, a lot of the functions of the IQ3 can be used with your IQ2 system. So anyway, let's do the test first, and we'll come back and talk about other functions of the new body. Alright, so we have done with the test. Now I'm going to tell you what I think about this new camera body and the new digital back. First of all, the autofocus is much better. Seriously. There are quite some hesitation with the DF Plus before, but now with the XF, it is pretty fast and precise. I'm more confident with the autofocus now. That's the first plus with the XF. I'm very happy with that. And the second thing about the body, there is a touch screen here. I'm not sure how that would benefit me for my shoot outdoor because I was in a studio just now. I didn't have to change any of the settings up here. But what I realized is that there is the first dial here for the shutter speed and the second dial back here for the aperture. And there is another dial back here which is for ISO. If you are using this camera outdoor and ambient light is changing quite rapidly, I think that would help the photographer a lot. That is a plus. The third thing is there are quite some customizable buttons on the body. For example, this one right here, you can customize it as, for example, for the waist level viewfinder, you can use this as the shutter, okay? Which would give you the perfect view for waist level camera. And secondly, just like what I'm doing now, customize this button for live view. Just by pressing that button once, you have live view, and press it again, you get out of it, which is pretty convenient. And now, with the XF and the IQ3 system, you can actually shoot in live view mode, okay? which is very helpful in a lot of situations, particularly for landscape photographers and maybe wildlife photographer for insects and things like that. That would be very helpful. And with the XF system and the IQ3, there is one very interesting innovation with this system. Now, the XF is using actually the same battery just like the IQ2 or IQ1 system. It's the same battery. And with the XF and the IQ3, they could actually share the battery. Normally, we would run out of the battery with the digital bag first. But now, when the battery with the digital bag is running out, the battery in the camera body, the XF, would actually also power up the digital bag, which means that most of the time when we're out there, you don't have to change battery that often. You will have to change both the battery at the same time, but when you are shooting, you will not need to change battery as often as before. That is a plus. Also, the camera now has a very interesting innovation, which is they have sensors in it which will detect any vibration with, or shake with the camera body. So you can actually tell the camera to go into a mirror up mode, and then when you press the shutter, it would actually detect if the camera is having any vibration or shaking, then the camera would not fire. And until, if the camera is on a tripod, until it detects that the wind is not strong enough, and after you press the shutter button, the camera is stable enough, the camera would actually fire itself, which is very helpful, I think, particularly for landscape photographers and also wildlife photographers and product photographers sometimes, which is a plus. And also, before this camera, when we had the DF Plus, a lot of the photographers out there would use the vertical grip, the V grip, which is not just a vertical grip, which is also a Profoto air remote trigger, so that you don't have to put a trigger up here at the hot shoe. But now the XF is actually with a Profoto trigger in it, in the body, which is pretty good, I think. Just like what I did just now, I don't need a trigger on the camera, and I can fire all the Profoto lights in my studio, which is also very good for us. Last but not least, actually, viewfinder here is changeable. You can actually use a different viewfinder. This prism 90-degree prism viewfinder is detachable. You can replace it with a waist level viewfinder, and also the waist level viewfinder is you can still use the light metering and autofocus with the camera body, which is amazing. In general, I think this camera body is very, very robust. I'm very confident with it. And the autofocus is actually really good. Though I was just testing it in the studio just now, I think the autofocus of it is actually pretty good, that even if I'm in a situation, maybe outdoor, which will be very helpful, particularly with the newly developed CMOS sensors like IQ250, IQ350. I think because I'm bringing this camera onto location nowadays more and more, particularly with dimmer situations, I think that is going to benefit us, the photographers, even more. Now, I'm so sorry that we don't have a lot of time to run a very thorough test with the camera body. I'm hoping that this camera would come back to me in a week or so. Then I can do a more thorough review of it. And if you have any particular question about this camera that you want to know, please do email me, and I'll try to run specific tests with those aspects with this camera and tell you. I'm Yankov Wong, and I would like to thank the model today, Pamela, and also the makeup artist, Joyce Ma, for helping me out. Thank you very much, and I'll see you around.